Hello everyone, Justin here, and today we're going to draw the largemouth bass, and we'll start with the mouth. So let's just go ahead and draw the upper mouth first, and then the lower part. The hinge of the mouth is right here, so let's have it opening this way to the left, and let's indicate the outer part of the mouth here with a couple lines to show some thickness. Now we can draw a curve for the end of the mouth and just follow it down this way. Now let's draw the top of the upper part of the mouth, and I curve down, and now I'm gonna go back to the silhouette of the head, and I'm just gonna almost kind of go horizontal and then bump up a little bit there for the back, and we'll stop there for now. But right behind this upper part of the mouth then will be the eye, so let's just draw a circle here and draw the operculum, which is the cover for the gills. So just right behind the eye, draw a curve, and here's the corner, and draw the back edge of the operculum. Draw a little line just underneath the eye here, and let's draw a pupil with a highlight. So now the thickest part of the body will be right about here, but it's gonna go all the way out here, and I'm gonna have it so that it's turning. So let's just go ahead and finish off the back, go back this far, so it'll be about 3 times this height of the mouth. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so then we're gonna curve this downward and stop there for now. Okay, so the body's going this way, and then the tail is gonna wrap around this way. So let's go ahead and bring the lower part of the body back, and don't make it too even, and stop right there. Alright, so I'm not continuing it all the way here because this body's wrapping around. So right here, actually let's go back here. I stopped this line here because right here is going to be an anal fin. So I'm going to start from the inside here to draw the front of the fin, and then a curve this way, and then finish off the back end. Okay, so now we can finish this line to go into the tail, go in, and then start coming out this way and then back. So this is going to be the tail. So then on the other side, then as it wraps around, it'll come off this line pretty much perpendicular as a curve, and then go the other way. So now here's our tail. So just a couple inside curves, and that's our body basically. So let's go ahead and add some other fins. So we've got a couple pelvic fins up here in the front. So right here, just draw a curve going down, almost touching the tail, and then the end will curve up and then curve back in. So this will actually go in a little bit, and then the other side, then right off this line, go down right about as deep as this one, and then start curving back up. Alright, so now we have a couple dorsal fins right about the midpoint here of this upper body. We'll go ahead and draw a line kind of angled back a little bit. Now this dorsal fin is going to be spiny, so we'll go ahead and do a scallop line that kind of follows this curve and actually getting closer to the back until it gets really close right here, and then we can go back. Alright, so There's another dorsal fin back here that's not going to go as high because this thing's curving, and we'll start it right here, and we're just going to make this smoother, but again it's getting closer to the body. Curve it and back to the back. So the next thing we need to add here is the pectoral fin, but before we do that, there's a couple other lines here we need to add. One here is to show the back end of the gill, and another body part here, just kind of body lines, and it's just coming off the other lines that I just drew there. And same thing here, we're going to continue this lower lip to go across here, and then to meet up with the gill line there, and another one right below, and it's going to curve down and again meet some of these lines, and these just show some texture on this part of the head. So then behind these lines here then will be our pectoral fin. So let's go ahead and from here draw a line out, and another one here going down this way, and we'll connect that with a nice long curve. Okay, and we'll show some radiating lines along that fin, and same with up here with the dorsal fin, from each of these points that we drew with the scallop line. And same with this, and these lines are slanted. And we'll also have lines here by the anal fin, not reaching all the way to the end, and same here and here. Here I've got it a little closer together because it's a little bit farther away, and we'll do the same here. Let's go ahead and draw kind of like the end of the body part with a squiggly line, kind of a thinner line, and then we'll draw the striations of the tail. And these I've got them get a little bit closer and reaching all the way to that body line. Okay, I'm gonna add a couple more here. And we're going to be adding more detail here with a thinner marker. And that's pretty much the largemouth bass. But now we'll go ahead and add some detail using a finer pen and do a little shading. So behind here there's a kind of a flap behind the mouth, and I'm going to go ahead and shade this with some fine lines and a little cross hatching to show that it's dark. And I'm going to go ahead and also add some darker tone to the inside of this mouth, adding a little bit of a gradient here, and same with over here. Just gonna cover the whole area. Okay, alright, just gonna add some simple shading, simple lines. And what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of following the direction of the first lines that we had drawn. Okay, and here I'm going to go ahead and add lines to the pectoral fin, and the difference in the line thickness will add some interest and variety to this fin, as well as add some tone here. So for the eye, I'm going to use short radiating lines and add more texture to the head here. And these are all the little details that start to give this a three-dimensional quality. Sometimes the shading will denote color change. Other times it will indicate changes in the contour of the body part. It all depends. Some also indicate little details in the structure of the body part. So just a combination of different things, different lines. Always refer to your reference picture for more information. Like there's some dots here as I look at my reference picture. So you always want to just go ahead and start with the rough shapes first, an overall picture of what you're doing, and then you can always add details later. So there's a lot of dots here, and that's just part of the coloration of this bass. And it tends to be like on the bottom side of the body, so that's what I'm indicating right now. And just for fun, I'll go ahead and put a cast shadow here, and this shadow is off the anal fin, and the shadow is following the contour of the body, and that all again helps to denote the shape, show that it's round. Okay, so next I'm gonna go ahead and start drawing little circles, because these dots actually become these like slightly bigger dots, colorations. So I'll just indicate that, and it's like a transition zone to where the scales are going to be, and we're going to indicate the scales here in a little bit. So more of these small circles, and you can fill these in. You could even just kind of make them solid, more or less, and try to make them random if you can, so that they're not looking too regular. And I'll just continue that all the way up here, and these lines are going to be a little bit thicker, so I'm going to just make them a little bit thicker. Same here. So now let's go add some scales. And the way I'm going to do the scales is I'm just going to use a crosshatch pattern, and I'll try to keep the lines as somewhat regular, and this part's going to be the bulk of the scales. And as you come up here where there's a little bit more light, perhaps you're not going to see them as clearly. Here I'm going to indicate the scales with a bunch of just short curved lines, and then I'll start to separate them a little bit, and some up here. Okay, so right here I'm gonna go ahead and start drawing lines this way. Okay, this direction all the way here. So I'll start with a short line here, and then getting longer. And I'll bring it halfway down the body. So this is going to be a somewhat stylized. I'm not going to draw every separate scale. And as I go to the back here, I'm going to draw these lines a little bit closer together because we've got some foreshortening going on. The distance between the scales and the size of the scales are going to get smaller. So now I'm going to go draw opposite lines going in a different direction, roughly about the same distance from each other as our first set of lines. And I'll just continue this on the back. And again, as I get closer to the back, I'm going to draw the lines a little closer. Okay. Now, there are these subtle spots that are on the back. So I'm going to go ahead and indicate that with some more lines. And these dots, there'll be kind of a couple rows really. So let's just, here I'm just drawing thin, short lines. Right over our crosshatched scale pattern. And again, these are not going to be too regular. See how this one's a little bit higher? And then I'll go ahead and draw a spot right over here. And there. Maybe a small one up here. And I'll just go on to the back. Alright, so over here then, we'll do the same thing with the scale pattern. We'll draw one set of lines this way first. And then another set of lines going a different direction. Alright, so just like these spots, I'll go ahead and draw some extra lines here to indicate the spots. And towards the tail, sometimes these will end up forming kind of like a stripe going down. So let's just indicate that. Alright, so now what I'll go ahead and do here is kind of add some shading so that this side overall is a little bit darker. So this whole back side, I'm going to add a third layer of lines, and that's going to help us show the roundness of the body, and a little bit more shading here as it goes under the front part of the body. Alright, so now let's go ahead and add some shading to the fins. And here I'm just again following the spines, the direction of the spines. And I'll do the same thing with this dorsal fin. And I'm starting each of these lines from the back or the base of the fin. And I'm going to add just another set of lines shorter. And that gives a little bit of a gradient to our dorsal fin. And I'll do the same with these pelvic fins. Just to add some extra lines starting from the base of the fin and going towards the ends. And here I'm going to add a little bit more just because it's the far fin. and you would think that it's a little bit darker. It'll be more in shade. Okay, this whole area is kind of lighter and here, but I'll go ahead and just add a little bit more shading up here then, just to show that this part is a little bit darker than here. And here I'll just go in this direction, although you could really go in any direction. And maybe just add some form shadow down here at the bottom. And that'll help to show and convey the roundness of this fish, the body. And I'm just adding another set of crosshatch lines here. And here I'm actually following the shape of the body here with these curved lines. And then my darker, shorter lines will go the other direction. Alright, so one more thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to give the back edge of this pectoral fin a rougher edge just by doing these, putting in these short zigzag lines. Okay, and maybe adding a couple lines that come off it like that. And same here, I'm gonna just make this edge just a little bit uneven, and I'll use my other marker to make it easier, and also make this just a little bit uneven. It's not as sharp as these and uneven, but there's still some texture, some variety in the edge here. Same here. Okay. And of course these sides here will stay the same. Alright, so I'm just gonna go over the bottom line a little bit thicker, just because it's in shadow, and just to add another variety to our line thickness. And maybe the bottom part of the pectoral fin here. And that should pretty much do it for our largemouth bass. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Thanks, and have a great day.